On this episode, Kofi Cockburn has made his decision and he will not be coming back to the Illinois Fighting Illini men's basketball team, and he will take his talents to the NBA as he enters the NBA draft. He left quite a big mark on the Illini program. There will never be another Kofi Cockburn for Illinois. Other players have also left the program, and Coach Brad Underwood and his staff have got to recruit their tails off, and they've landed some big recruits. We are going to discuss all of the changes to the Illini men's basketball team today on the Coach Steve Show podcast. Welcome back to the podcast, everybody. If you're watching on YouTube, please hit the like button and the subscribe button. Of course, it helps get the video out there and helps get the podcast out there. We greatly appreciate it. And if you're listening to the podcast in audio form, please follow it, rate it, be a friend, tell a friend, give it a star rating on Apple. You can also do it on Spotify. It's a brand new part. This podcast is also brought to you by the Belly Up Media Network. If you go to bellyupsports.com, check out the Belly Up Media Network. There's stuff on there for everybody, blogs, podcasts, everything else. So go check all that out. This podcast is also brought to you by Coach Stone Football and his Back to the Basics books and drills. If you go to coachstonefootball.com and check out all of his Back to the Basics drill manuals, because as football coaches, we are looking to get back to the basics. We're looking to get more simple when it comes to drills. So if you go to coachstonefootball.com, check out his Back to the Basics drill manuals. He does all the work for us. You'll never have to look up another drill again. I promise you. Thank you, Coach Stone, for sponsoring the podcast. Before we dive into Illinois, there's some changes. Illinois is going to have different guys on their team, some different things. And, the big news with Kofi Cockburn, breaking news as well tonight. Jay Wright, the head coach of the Villanova Wildcats, it's been reported that he is going to be retiring, maybe moving towards doing TV or radio or moving in that general direction. Is reported all over Twitter. Jay Wright expected to retire as head coach. He's going to be discussing with his family. He is 60 years old. He's been the head coach at Villanova since 2001. He has won 2 national titles in 2016 and 2018. He has made 4 Final Four appearances. The 4th one just coming this season. He was named Coach of the Year in 2006 and 2016. He was also inducted into the Hall of Fame in 2021. He is one of the great basketball coaches. He has been 21 years as a head coach over at Villanova. If this is true, it all comes reportedly true. He is going to leave. That's going to be a huge job to be taken. He's left his mark on college football, coaching one of the Blue Buds. He was 520 and 197 in 21 years with Villanova. He has won at least 30 games on 6 different occasions, which is huge to win 30 games in a college basketball season. The 6th most 30-win seasons in men's Division I history. He won 8 Big East regular season titles and 5 Big East Conference Tournament championships. Before he went to Villanova, he was a head coach at Hofstra for 7 seasons, winning 2 American East championships and making 2 NCAA tournament appearances. And so if it becomes true that Coach Wright is going to be retiring, we congratulate him. He's not going to do, if he decides to retire, we'll see if he's going to do a retirement tour just like Coach K did, where he said it was not all about him. It was about the university, about the players. Yeah, right. So one of the great basketball coaches, that's going to be a huge job to be taken. Please don't swirl around Brad Underwood's name for this job. I think he has done pretty well at Illinois. Please don't swirl that around. I know it was talked about before. It might have been my friend's Logan's podcast, the No One Asked This podcast, I think, where they talked about if a big job opens up, does Brad Underwood go and take it? Well, now a big job's going to maybe open up. If this report is true, now we're going to have to wait to be seen if he's going to do a retirement tour. Is it going to be at the end of the season? Is it going to be right now, effective soon? But he's going to talk with his family. If it's true, congratulations to him and the great career. If it decides not to be true, he will still be coaching. Villanova will still be in the mix. Villanova will be a pretty good basketball team. So I wanted to report that. That was reported today. So we wanted to record that on April 20th, as it was reported. My Illinois Fighting Illini had a great 21-22 year. Regular season Big Ten champs. They made it to the round of 32, made it to the NCAA tournament. And just had a great year. You know, they beat a lot of teams, and it was really fun to watch a lot of these guys that helped Brad Underwood turn the program around. But Illinois is going to look very different. They have had a busy offseason this year. The latest news coming with Kofi Cockburn, All-American, one of the Player of the Year candidates, Big Ten player candidates. Put his name in the draft last year in the offseason, then decided, talking with his agent, to come back to Illinois and had another great year. He had to sit out a few games at the beginning for apparently violating in some NCAA rules, making money for signing things, even though the NIL is a thing. But regardless, Kofi left his mark on Illinois. Two-time consensus All-American, 1,546 career points, 861 career rebounds, 45 career doubles, Big Ten champion, Big Ten tournament champion. Kofi left his mark on Illinois. Without Kofi, it would have been very difficult to have Illinois turn this around. Now, of course, Ayo DeSumo was a part of that. Monte Williams was part of that. Trent Frazier part of that. So this group of players that helped Brad Underwood get this program turned around and try to get it back to his winning ways is going to be gone. Kofi being that last piece. Other players have made decisions. Everybody was on their seat waiting for Kofi because we weren't going to be shocked either way if he left or if he decided to stay. If he decided to stay, we'd be not as shocked because the NIL, he could make money. He could come back and say, I'm going to make my draft pick stock even higher. I have unfinished business, maybe with Illinois, to try to win some more games. If he decided to go to the NBA, we weren't going to be shocked about that either because his body, I believe, is tough enough to be NBA ready. And so this was one of the last dominoes to fall. There are still other things that can happen, but for Illinois, this was just the latest one. So Kofi is off to the NBA. Kofi has done a lot for the University of Illinois. We thank you, Kofi, for everything you did for Illinois, to try to get this program back to what it needs to be, what it could be, and, got it to that point. And so as Illinois, we're going to say, I'm going to speak for all Illinois fans, we thank everything he did. We thank for everybody that has done something for Illinois that has left. But for Kofi, being that National Player of the Year candidate 2 years in a row, even with Ayo DeSumo on the team, being, talked about to be a Big Ten Player of the Year as well, even with all these guys on there and other great players in the Big Ten. Kofi is actually also undefeated in his career against Michigan, Wisconsin, Minnesota, Penn State, Nebraska, and Northwestern. 6 out of the 13 other Big Ten schools never beaten Kofi, 28-0. So Kofi literally doesn't know what losing is. There's a video of Brad Underwood saying that he was going to have to teach these guys how to win. And that's what, had happened with Brad Underwood and Kofi and Ayo DeSumo, and everybody were a part of that. And so he's left a winning mark. Now, that's not the only changes that has happened to Illinois. There's been a lot of dominoes that have fallen. Some we knew that were going to have to leave. Trent Frazier was going to leave, whether for the NBA draft or graduation. He has decided to try to enter the NBA draft. Trent Frazier, again, was one of those leaders with Kofi. He was the heart and soul of the team for the last few seasons. Could play defense, could play offense. He kind of struggled near the end of the tournament, but he had a couple lingering things happening. So not going to blame him. I mean, the whole team could have stepped up better against Houston, but Trent Frazier gone to NBA draft graduation. Alonzo Plummer is gone due to graduation and he's also announced to the NBA draft. One of the great 3-point shooters. Struggled a little bit on defense, but still going to miss him. Omar Payne transferred once again. He transferred to Illinois from Florida. He went into the transfer portal, and then not too long after entering the transfer portal, gets to Jacksonville University. So that's another big man down along with Kofi. So we are now down 2 big men. Omar Payne came to Illinois when everybody pointed, when Kofi was going to enter, he entered the NBA draft, he was going to the NBA. His draft stock wasn't that high, and so he came back. So that cut into Omar Payne's playing time. Curbelo decided to enter the transfer portal. Now, this one was shocking and not shocking at the same time. It was shocking only because the relationship Wright Underwood he had from last year that we've seen, and then the fact that he was trying to come back and played in games this year. But after he didn't play the whole second half versus Houston, it kind of saw where it's not going to catch us off guard if he decides to transfer. He entered the transfer portal, and now he's going to play at St. John's. He is from the East Coast. He is going back home. And so this was, as soon as he entered the transfer portal, it was already talked about how he would head out back that way to be at home. I would rather have him be in Illinois. People love that Curbelo is going to be gone from Illinois. I think that's going to hurt Illinois. I think a guy that understands Brett Underwood, the type of guy that just an Energizer bunny. And again, the mistakes he was making in January or February are those November, December mistakes because he didn't get to play. This is another huge hole to fill. Curbelo going to St. John's. Old Pods, Brandon Pods has entered the transfer portal as well. Maybe due to lack of playing time. As of right now, I could not report of him landing anywhere. So we wish him the best of luck. Sometimes situations just don't work out. And DeMonte Williams, a part of the rebuilding crew, graduation, used up all of his eligibility, whether he goes to the NBA or he just decides to go do something else, become a coach, go do whatever he did. So Illinois off this Big Ten championship team, we have lost 7 guys, which is huge. And it may not be over. We're still waiting on Grandison to see if he's going to do anything. And a couple other guys, but he's probably the next one to be talked about, whether he's going to go or not. But these are all huge losses to that Illinois Fighting Illini team. Coming off of a Big Ten tournament champ. Now on that team, you had Io DeSumo on there, but then you're also coming off a regular season Big Ten title. And these are your starters. These are some of the guys that come off the bench. And these are the guys that have led this team for this turnaround. So now Brett Underwood is almost starting with a completely different slate. Losing 7 guys is going to be huge. Now he'll have some guys coming back that have some experience and have seen it and build off of it. So Brett Underwood and his staff now have to recruit their tails off, which they have. Illinois has recruited pretty well. Before we get into Illinois' recruits, you football coaches out there, you're finishing up your spring ball. You're in your spring ball. Some of us were going to get ready for the summer. We got to start thinking about your big guys in the trenches. They hit every single play, and there's a lot of blows that get taken. There's a way to protect the shells for those big guys and reduce those blows up to 33%, which is huge. It's Guardian Caps. Guardian Caps is going to reduce that up to 33%. It's worn by over 5 NFL teams and 200-plus colleges like Georgia, Oklahoma, Alabama. If it's good enough for Alabama, it's good enough for us. Nick Saban knows a little something about football. I'm here to save you money because I understand football coaches and your budgeting, and I get it. I've coached high school football 13, 14 years, understand the budget. If you go to guardiansports.com/guardian-caps and use the code 15 off. You're going to save 15% off your order. You can get colors to match your team. You can buy 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 100. Doesn't matter. It's going to save you money. guardiansports.com/guardian-caps. Use the code 15 off. Protect the big guys in the trenches. Protect those shells. Protect the helmets. Protect everything. Remember, football is way smarter than it used to be. It's way safer, but we just can't be too safe. So again, go to that website, 15 off to save 15% off your order. Thank you, Guardian Sports and Guardian Caps, for sponsoring the podcast. So Illinois has had to go out and recruit. Now before Omar had left, there was that opportunity for Kofi to stay. Now, before Kofi decided to leave, Illinois had come out with some of the recruits. So if you look at the 2022 commit, right now Illinois is number 9, and last year they were 24, in the Big Ten rank of number 4. So pretty good. They signed Ty Rogers from Thornton Township High School up here in the suburbs of Illinois, and he is an absolute monster, which was a great sign to bring to Illinois. He is going to be a power forward. He is going to help a little bit. He's not going to be a Kofi, but I think he could be built kind of like an Omar Payne, but being that power forward like a Grandison, to come in, be able to rebound and to shoot. It was a great sign. Jaden Epps is, he could be kind of that other type of off forward for the team. Terrence Harris as a shooting guard, because we need to start replacing. We have some guys on the team still that can shoot, but now we have to start building up that depth, especially losing 7, and you're losing Williams as a guard, Trent Frazier as your point guard, Curbelo as your guard, Plummer as your shooting guard. We've got to start doing, fill up the guards. Then the big hard commit, the 5-star, which was Sky Clark. This was a huge sign. This is the type of guy to bring in to help with the point guard situation. This could be the next Curbelo project. And what I mean by that is a guy that can immediately come in and play. Now, he's not going to be quite like Curbelo. I believe this guy is going to be able to score better. But to get a 5-star commit, which everybody who flip-flopped from Kentucky, where there's this little rivalry that had been happening between Illinois and Kentucky, not quite on the court, but on social media and guys talking. And Kofi almost went there, and we lost some staff members to there. And so you get this little rivalry thing starting to happen between Illinois and Kentucky. So this right here is going to help getting some of those guys, but the Sky Clark is going to help slowly heal the guard spot, because now we're going to start to be a little thin. And then we get another power transfer, Deja, which I cannot say his name, transferred from Baylor to Illinois. So a guy that was, with Baylor, understands winning because they won the national championship last year, to come to Illinois, another power forward. Hopefully it's not going to be like an Omar Payne experiment, but this guy to come in when he was recruited in high school was a 4-star, in the transfer he's a 3-star, but a guy that Brett Underwood can use in the rotation and immediately could almost play, not start necessarily, but play. And then to add on top of the signing, we're already looking to 2024 because he's thinking way ahead. So he just got Sky Clark to announce that he's going to come to Illinois. Clark, he's 6'2", 175 pounds. He averages 11.6 points, 6.6 rebounds, 4.7 assists, and 1.3 steals in 27 games. But then they get another commit. Not soon after getting Sky Clark, we get ZZ Clark, which is his brother, his younger brother, is committed to the University of Illinois for the 2024 class. That is huge. He's built just like his brother. He has natural strength. He can shoot the ball, and it's like a Plummer shooting, except they've already said he's probably more consistent. So to bring these type of guys in, because again, if you look at who we lost, Trent Frazier, point guard, Plummer guard, Curbelo, your point guard, Pods, he could play that forward guard spot. Williams could play the guard small forward spot. So now you're bringing in some power forwards. Now you're bringing in some guards, and they're not done. They are going after these recruits. And this is some of the things we've been lacking at Illinois for basketball and football, both. Now, Coach Bielema and football, having the honor to talk to Coach Miller, the offensive line coach, and getting a small insight. They are recruiting the state crazy, and they are trying to get these type of players, and they're recruiting way better. Brad Underwood has brought that recruiting in, and we've seen it through these players. We're getting Kofi and getting Trent Frazier, getting Ayo Dosunmu, who's proven he can recruit, and it continues. And this is great for Illinois basketball. So now to try to heal the guard spot. And Brad Underwood said, this is going to be a talented team next year. They're not going to be quite as, not going to be that big because of Kofi being gone and Omar Payne. But they're going to be, I want to say they're going to look similar built, I want to say to like a Baylor team where, especially last year and when Illinois played them, they're going to be lengthy. They're going to be able to run the court maybe even quicker than what they were. And he's going to be able to do other things. I'm not saying Kofi slowed any part of the offense down by any means. But when you have a guy like that, you do tweak it a little bit. Kofi could run. They could run fast breaks. They could do all of that. But now when you get guys that are maybe, like I said, more power forwards, they're going to run the court. Now, the only problem is when you don't have the huge big guys with rebounding and all of that. But they're going to be quick. They're going to be athletic. They're going to have some speed, which is phenomenal. But it is going to be it's going to be interesting to see how they replace a point guard from Curbelo and Trent Frazier. They're going to miss the leadership, but when we're talking about positions, to replace those point guard type positions, to replace a guy that come off the bench like an Omar Payne and play, to replace a DeMonte Williams that can play defense. Now you got to replace Plummer that can shoot. Bring in the Clark guys in, can help with the shooting. Now, one Clark's not going to get there for a while. The next one, he's going to come in, maybe might be able to play. Now, on top of that, Illinois does have some guys. They already have guys on the roster that will stay there. To add to this with these guys coming in, they don't really have an updated one. Pods is gone, Trent Frazier's gone. Servant was a freshman. He'll be back. Granderson, as of right now, will be back. So there's some of the leadership that you will have. Luke Goody came in and played big minutes against Houston as a freshman. There will be that type of leadership to help show these guys that are coming in. You're going to have Verdonk, he'll be there. So some length. RJ Melendez, who did, he had some injury issues there, but another guy that's going to be lengthy and be able to help. So Coleman Hawkins is going to be huge. If he could stay, that's another one that we're going to have to wait and see if that domino falls, if he leaves, if Granderson leaves. So we are going to have some length. We're going to have some speed, and we're going to have some shooting. And so Trent Frazier, Kofi, DeMonte Williams, and Ayo Dosunmu and them, they set the foundation and built that beautiful house. Now we're going to add on to it. And what's crazy is when you hear about, normally if you hear a team losing 7 guys off of a Big Ten championship team and possibly 1 or 2 more when you're hearing this, panic needs to start to set in. Worry needs to start to set in. But as a fan, when you look at the recruits that they have, what they have coming even back if those guys stay, so losing 7 guys, seeing the recruits, seeing what could possibly come back from the team before, and listening to Brad Underwood be confident and say, we're going to get right back to work. We're not going to skip a beat. Now we've got this down, and we're going to be able to just work and get this done. That is what us Illinois fans want to hear. That's the direction that we want to see it going. And that's why Brad Underwood is the coach for Illinois that we need to be excited for. The recruiting has been amazing. To get these type of, like Illinois getting a 5-star recruit, like that doesn't happen. I don't even know when the last time that happened. Maybe from the 2004 teams, maybe from Bill Self times. We don't get that. And we've had a lot of good players come through Illinois, a ton. So it's really exciting, still exciting to be an Illinois fan. It's still exciting that Brad Underwood and his staff are recruiting like this. It's an exciting time to be an Illinois fan. Well, I'm excited for football, their spring game coming up. I'm excited for their football season. Excited to see what these type of recruits are going to do for basketball and what we're going to look like coming in. Excited for the recruits, excited for that. Now Kofi enters the NBA draft. I think Kofi will be drafted. People think he won't because of the state of the NBA, where they're looking more for shooters and speed and guys that can stretch the floor. But I also think you're going to look at Kofi and go, man, college football coaches, college basketball coaches, they might, mainly college football because they have more scholarships and more positions, but they can look at a guy that's big with a frame. And even though he may not be, maybe he's good in high school, but he's on that verge, but they could look at him and say, you know what, this is a project. He's got size 16 feet. He's, 6'7", maybe 275 pounds, 280 pounds. But they can go, man, that's a project. NBA team is going to look at Kofi and say, man, he got faster, as his time at Illinois. He got better at scoring, got better in the post, he got better on defense. He's just a big body, and he could slim down and still have the muscle. An NBA team is going to see that and say, you know what, we will draft him in maybe the second round, and this will be a project. This will be a guy that we can get to shoot mid-range. Is a guy that is going to cause problems on the other end because he is big and strong and rebounding. Because here's the other thing. I don't know if NBA will be quite like this. NBA has kind of transitioned away from post players. It's transitioned to that. I understand that. But it's hard when you see a frame like that, a guy that can play basketball like that. Football's kind of done the same thing, where we've seen this wave of a certain offense, a certain defense, and it turns into this wave. But then football always makes its turnaround and comes back. Because when you start running these type of offenses and everything else, and so another team's going to play this defense, well, then to combat the defense, you're going to get that offense to revert back to what was beating them before. So NBA could start to make a turn and say, you know what, now we have to start getting these hybrid type guys, which I think Kofi can do. I'm not saying he can't shoot the three, whatever, but it's a project. It's a guy that can move, quick feet, big body, strong body. I think a team's going to draft him. I really do. I just can't see an NBA team passing up on him. But thank you to all the players for Illinois that have left and what you've done. Thank you, Kofi. The last domino to fall from this class, these players to do something that helped Illinois get back. So Kofi's off to NBA. We've lost some guys, but recruiting's been great. I'm excited to see what Illinois does from here. Again, like and subscribe to the YouTube channel, Twitter @Coach_Steve72. Listen to the podcast wherever you listen to your podcast. Follow, rate it, be a friend, tell a friend, leave a review on Apple and Spotify. Check out all the other episodes, all the other videos. Check out the Patreon, the Coach Steve Show at patreon.com, all that good stuff. Thank you guys so much for watching and or listening. Check out all the affiliates in the description below. And just like Kofi Cockburn, we are signing off.